Welcome to the Sports Couch, a special edition. I'm your host, Randy Olson, and on this special edition of the Sports Couch, we're going to be visiting with a young lady who had a lot of success playing basketball, both in junior high, high school, and now in college. In fact, back in 8th grade, her and her teammates won the Class M junior high state championship, and then in high school, she made it to the state championship game in Class 1A in her junior season on a team that went 31-4. She was also all-state in high school all 4 years that she played, and now she's off to a great start, enjoying some success at the University of Nebraska. We are talking about Amiah Hargrove from Christopher, and she joins us right now, taking a few minutes out of her busy schedule to talk to us on the Sports Couch. Hey, Amiah, how are you doing? Good to hear from you.
Hi, yes, I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, just great, and we really appreciate you taking time because we know how busy you are, and I don't think the average person understands, unless they've been through what you've been through as a Division I athlete. The average person doesn't understand really what a grueling schedule you have. It's very busy. In fact, we had to change and alter the time of our interview today just because you got a lot of things going on, getting ready for a game tomorrow, right?
Yes, yeah, it can get pretty crazy at times, but, it's so much fun, so... as long as you're having fun doing it, I think that's what matters the most. So,
well, you mentioned the keyword fun, and every time I see pictures of you on the Nebraska website or on their Facebook page or something, you're always smiling. So I can tell that you're having a lot of fun playing for the Huskers, and what a joy it must be. What's been the biggest adjustment for you from high school to college basketball?
I would say basketball-wise, just obviously like the speed of the game at first, and understanding, that everyone you're playing against is a Division I athlete, and everybody has a super high IQ. Like, we're all here for a reason. So I think probably just like the little bit of the speed of the game, and then just on the defensive end, just like I mentioned before, everyone can score, everyone can pass, everyone can shoot, and so it's really being able to lock into our scouting reports and knowing everybody's strengths and weaknesses. There's just a lot more that goes on behind the scenes, I think, than people realize, especially just like prepping for your opponents and everything. So I think just mainly things on the defensive end, I would say, and just kind of learning tendencies and trying to fit into our defensive culture, the way that we run our things here at Nebraska.
Well, in high school, you're 6'2", and in high school, especially in Class 1A here in Southern Illinois, that was big. I mean, you were one of the tallest girls on the floor most nights. But in Division I college basketball, particularly in the Big Ten, there's a lot of girls that are 6'2" or bigger, and even on your own team, there's girls bigger than that, right?
Yes, yeah. So especially in the Big Ten, like I'm undersized. I'm considered undersized for my position, and that's obviously something that I'm not used to. I'm used to being the biggest girl on the floor, and now coming here, I'm almost normal sized, or I'm small, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm technically considered even undersized at my position here. So.
And I don't think a lot of people understand how important it is and how big it is, a big deal it is to play in the Big Ten because, right now I think there's 9 teams from the Big Ten that are ranked in the top 25, including your Nebraska Huskers. So that just kind of shows you the depth and how good the Big Ten Conference is in women's basketball.
Yeah, and now the number 1 team in the country is in the Big Ten, and UCLA, and USC, are another new addition. Like they're top 5, top 6, just up and down. Every game is a battle, and you're going to get your best from everyone every night. So you have to be locked in, ready to play. So I'm just really excited to get Big Ten underway because it's going to be a really fun conference season.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're 9-1 on the season overall already, and the nice thing about those 10 games is that you've already gotten to play in each one of those 10 games, which really is kind of unheard of for a freshman. So you've gotten some quality minutes, and you've been making the most of that opportunity, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been great, these first 10 games to really get out there and, kind of get my feet wet and, just understanding and, like I said, kind of adjusting to the pace of the game. And then now that we're about to go into, Christmas break and then kick off Big Ten play right after that around the new year, just, having that confidence already kind of built up is something that I'm really fortunate to kind of, have under my belt. So, I'm just very thankful for the opportunity and just trying to make the most of it.
Well, let's talk about how you ended up at Nebraska. Was that school on your radar? Did you pursue them? They pursue you? I know that because of the success you had in high school, there were a lot of teams trying to recruit you. So how was it that you ended up at Nebraska?
Yeah, they were always kind of in my back pocket. I've said that a lot, just over the last, year and a half. But they recruited me, and I was always like, yeah, there's Nebraska. I was never super, super serious about it. And then the summer before my senior year, I was like, you know what, I'll just take a visit out there. I came here on an official, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. Just from, Lincoln itself as a city to all of the people here and just the facilities that we have and all of the resources that Nebraska provides. They're just, they say there's no place like Nebraska, and honestly, that's so true. And, every day I'm kind of learning just how true that is. This is such a special place, and I really just felt that as soon as I got here, I guess 2 Junes ago almost now. So yeah, and I committed the last day of my visit right before I got on the plane. I told the coaches at breakfast that I wanted to be a Husker. And it was a lot of happy tears, and it just really showed me that this is where I meant to be. And as soon as I, let them know, it was like 1,000,000 pounds had been lifted off my shoulders. And so yeah, it was just kind of a fairy tale ending to my recruiting journey. And like I said, I couldn't be happier to have landed here.
Well, they say that when you know, and you just you felt comfortable there, and you just knew that was the place you want to be for sure. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
That's awesome. And I know there were some other schools in the Big Ten that recruited you, including Illinois. I know Missouri was after you, Creighton, among others. But it seems like it's just been a great fit for you so far at Nebraska. And you mentioned facilities. Oh, my goodness. They've got great facilities there in Lincoln, Nebraska. That Pinnacle Bank Arena that you play in is awesome. Seats about, 15,000 people or something. And then you've got incredible practice facilities, too.
Yes, yeah. Just up and down the line, all of the sports here. We all are very lucky and super blessed to have such amazing places to, train and to get better. And then, PBA, there's no place like it, especially when it's full of Husker fans. And Husker Nation is incredible. They show out every single night for all of us here. Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter the time of day. So the community support here it's just unlike anything else I've ever seen.
Well, I think you'll agree with me when I say that I think there's probably more interest in women's college basketball now than there's maybe ever been. And, of course, we have people like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to thank for that. But, you're on all TV all the time now and playing in front of sellout crowds, and it's just really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This is such an amazing time, to be coming up in women's basketball. And like I mentioned before, the support here is just unlike anything else, and it's just really a really exciting time for all of us.
Well, you obviously have some great DNA because you have some parents that were very good athletes in their own right. I mean, your dad, Amiah Hargrove, played in the NFL for several seasons, was on a Super Bowl championship team with the New Orleans Saints, and then your mom was also a great athlete too. She played volleyball not only in high school, but I know in college. And so, I mean, you've definitely got it in the gene pool, that's for sure. But and I know that you played a lot of different sports growing up. I mean, you played, softball, track and field, volleyball, basketball. At what age or what time was it in your life, Amiah, that you realized, hey, you know what, basketball's my game, and I think I can be pretty good at this sport?
Yeah, I would honestly say probably around 6th grade. At that point, I was already 5'10", and I could make layups. And obviously being from a small town, I was bigger than everybody at the time. So I could rebound a bunch and make some easy shots. And then I kind of realized that I really, really loved playing basketball. But it was never too serious where I only wanted to focus on that, and it never got to that point. But yeah, I was like, I really liked basketball. I was playing travel softball at the time, actually. For a long time, I thought, softball was my game. And then, just as I kind of progressed through junior high, I realized that, I really had a pretty strong passion for basketball, and I think that's what I wanted to do. So my parents, I joined a small AAU club out of Carbondale, played in some tournaments for a couple summers, and then I decided the summer before my freshman year that I really, really wanted to do this, and I wanted to, play at the Power 5 level, and I switched AAU teams and started playing for Bradby Elite out of St. Louis, which is a pretty historic club. Jason Tatum actually played for them on the men's side, so they're pretty well known in the country. So I took that opportunity and got some pretty good exposure through that, and then the rest is kind of history. So.
So I guess that's really when you started developing your skills, such as shooting and dribbling and all that sort of thing, was from those early days with AAU and that sort of stuff, huh?
Yeah, about sixth grade, I started working out with a trainer, a couple times a week. It was never anything super, super serious, and then by the time I got to about eighth grade, I started working with my trainer, who's still my trainer now, Justin Barrington, from Carterville. So Justin and I have been working together for, I guess, like 5 years now, which is crazy. It's been that long, but yeah.
Well, that is really cool. That is great. Mm-hmm. Well, you have a tremendous support network, not only your parents, but your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, obviously all of Christopher, but really all of Southern Illinois. I mean, you've got a tremendous support network of people that love you and have followed your career. And I know, like in the NIL store, name, image, likeness store, where you can shop for different merchandise items, you're ranking there in the top 10 as far as some of the sales of some of those things. So people are really supporting what you're doing, and they love the fact that you're finding success there at Nebraska.
Yeah, seeing my family, has always been my biggest fans, and, I knew they all would buy all my stuff as soon as it came out, and I figured, some people in town would, but just to see, like, being number 9 on, I guess it's nationally, on the NIL store, really shows, like, how much Southern Illinois is supporting me, and it honestly was such a surprise, and I'm so very thankful that, everyone is choosing to support me in that way, and I know, people, you don't just have to buy my stuff to, show me love or support me, but it really means a lot to me that, people are wanting to wear my stuff and wear my name and wear Nebraska, too, especially in Southern Illinois. It's just been really, really cool to see. And it just shows how blessed I am and how strong the community is back home.
Mm-hmm. I know originally when you first signed with Nebraska and they were doing some of the promotional photos, I think in some of those early photos you were wearing number 21, and then they got you settled into 33, and 33 is what you've been wearing since the season started. Is there a story behind that or anything?
Yeah, so obviously in high school I was always 22. That's always kind of been my number. But when I played AAU for Brad Bewley, I was always 33. And I think it had just been because, like, someone else had 22. So I was like, yeah, I'll do 33. Mm-hmm. And I've always loved Larry Bird. And obviously he was number 33. So I was like, oh, yeah, there's that connection there. And then when I got to college, one of my teammates, Natalie Potts, she's 22 also, or she is here. So I was like, oh, Nat's got 22. I probably won't be able to do that. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally be 33. And I honestly was kind of ready for a switch up. It's like college, kind of a new era of life, of basketball. So I was kind of happy to switch it up. But obviously I love Larry Bird. So 33 still has some special meaning to me. So. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's a great story. Well, you mentioned Natalie Potts. Unfortunately, she's out with an ACL injury, and she was one of your key players and key starters, and that certainly is a blow to your team. But at the same time, that's also given you and some other players an opportunity to get some more playing time, hasn't it?
Yeah, obviously seeing Nat go down was so hard just for all of us. It's crushing. And, Nat's one of my best friends, and I've been really fortunate to get to learn from her, over the summer and through the course of the season. But, yeah, when she went down, our main emphasis has just been, playing for each other and for Nat and understanding that Nat brings so much to our team. And a lot of things that, are irreplaceable just with her energy and things like that, which she still provides from the sideline. But just understanding that, a lot of us are going to have to step up and, kind of fill in some of the roles that she played, whether it's rebounding or scoring or whatever. So, yeah, I've definitely kind of taken it upon myself to step up and, contribute even more than what I thought I needed to, just, for Nat and for this team because, this is such a special group. So, yeah, I think we're just attacking every game with the mindset of understanding that, we're playing for a bigger purpose than just ourselves. So, yeah, I think Nat going down has just been a pretty good way to bring us all together, trying to make the most out of the situation.
Yeah, you guys seem to just be rallying around the fact that she's out, and you're all stepping up is what it seems like you're doing. And I mentioned earlier that you've played in all 10 games so far, and you've been averaging about 12 minutes a game. But here recently, you had a game where you almost had a double-double. You had 10 points and 8 rebounds in just 14 minutes on the floor, which was outstanding, especially for a freshman.
Thank you.
I mean, that's phenomenal. Well, here's a question for you. What was it like growing up as the daughter of a professional athlete, and because of that experience and what your dad went through and stuff that he was able to share with you, do you think that maybe his experience and what he shared with you has also kind of helped contribute to your work ethic and what you were going to have to go through with the day-to-day grind that you have sometimes in college athletics?
Yeah, I think it 100% does. Obviously growing up, like, to me, he was just dad. He just happened to play football at the highest level, which is always kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just honestly, genetically, he instilled that kind of work ethic in me, and then obviously just through seeing him and, seeing that he played at the highest level, so I'm like, well, that's just, that's what I'm supposed to do too. Just kind of following in his footsteps in a way, and I think he also, growing up, always did a great job of pushing me, but letting it be my choice on what I wanted to do. But, whatever I did, it was going to be 110%. So I think that was something that was kind of instilled in me from a young age. And my mom and dad will always be my biggest fans, no matter what I pursue. They were always great at reminding me, like, yeah, you can play basketball, but, if it ever gets to a point where that's not what you want to do anymore, we'll support you every step of the way. So I think that was really huge for me, and kind of allowing it to be my decision and kind of how I wanted to go about things just made it easier and just showed that I really do have a true passion for the game and that this is really what I want to be doing. But yeah, I think just him instilling that, work ethic in me from a young age has really helped me this far. And just my dad, the mental side of things, he just is so mentally tough, and I've always admired that. And I just really try to mirror that in any way I can.
Well, I think that it's rubbed off on you, too, as far as dealing with the media, too, because obviously when you were being recruited and having the success you had in high school there at Christopher and going to the state championship game, you had a lot of meetings and interviews with the media, like we're doing right now. And now already at Nebraska, you've been on the post-game panel a couple of times with the media, and you handle yourself so well with the media, Maya. I mean, it's really outstanding. You're just a bright young lady. You really are.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your teammates a little bit more, because it seems like you've got such great camaraderie out there. Every photo I see, again, of you on the bench, if you're not on the floor, you're smiling, you're cheering for each other, you're trying to support each other. I mean, it just seems like that you've got a really cohesive group there at Nebraska.
Yeah, we do. This is such a special group, and, kind of everyone around us knows that, and we'll tell anybody that. I think the biggest thing is that we all are best friends off the court, and that allows us to have great chemistry while we are playing. But I think the biggest thing is that we really do enjoy each other's company. Today, after practice, one of my coaches and one of our grad assistants and, 6 of us underclassmen went to IHOP together, just to eat and, hang out. So, yeah, I think it's just that we are just so close, and we all genuinely love and care for each other. And it makes things a lot easier on the floor when you have that chemistry off the court. So yeah, these girls are my best friends. They're my sisters. I don't know what I would do without them, and I've only known them, most of them, for about 6 months, which is crazy. How much of an impact that people can have on your life when you're just surrounded by good people all the time. And it makes it hard not to smile when you're just really out there with your best friends, doing what you love at a high level. It's just nothing but joy and love within this team, and that's not just through us girls, but it's also with our coaching staff and all of our managers. We're so close, and like I've said a million times, it's such a special place and such a special group. I'm just so thankful to be a part of it. Well,
speaking of the coaches, growing up in junior high and high school, you always had one, maybe 2 coaches. And at the college level, particularly in the Big Ten and Nebraska, you've got a plethora of different coaches and trainers and health and nutrition people. I mean, there's so many people that you interact with on a daily basis, isn't there?
Yes, there's so many people. I think we have 4 or 5 coaches, a whole team of scout guys, that we practice against every day. We've got a whole team of managers. We've got nutritionists, trainers, equipment managers, strength conditioning coaches. We have a massage therapist. There's just so many people that do so much for us behind the scenes that I think a lot of times obviously gets overlooked. And we really couldn't, go through practice probably without most of the people that are around. And obviously we get to go out there and we're the final product. But like I said, there's so many things that go on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. So I think getting to shine a light on those people because they do so much for us, and we are so thankful for them, and everybody does such a great job. So we do try to shout them out as much as possible, which is what I'm trying to do here because, like I've said a million times, there is not one person here that wouldn't do, anything for you. So, yeah, this is just special place with a lot of special people.
Takes a village, doesn't it? It sure does.
Yes.
Well, I noticed,
it does, 100%.
Yeah, and I notice even on some of your practices, it looks like that sometimes you have some boys in there in the practice too, in the sessions to work out with you guys, right?
Yes, we have a scout team of probably like 15 to 20 guys that kind of rotate in different practices. They'll play defense on us. We'll guard them a lot of times. They'll run through, our opponents' plays, for our scouting reports. They're really great, and they're all really talented, so they give us great reps of, what the other team's looks are going to be, and obviously to play against boys who are, sometimes bigger, faster, stronger than us is really helpful. So, yeah, and our scout guys are great. They do a great job. So.
We are recording this interview on a Saturday, and, of course, you have a game tomorrow on Sunday against Chattanooga and on Sunday. And the media department there at Nebraska has used a picture of you as the graphic to promote the game, which I think just speaks volumes of you and how you're fitting into the system already. I think that's wonderful because you do have so much depth on this basketball team, and you are part of that depth, Amiah. So congratulations. That's exciting to see that graphic, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And then you've got a game coming up here real soon before Christmas where you're making a trip down to Georgia Tech, and that's kind of special because that's where your dad, Anthony Hargrove, played his college football was in Georgia Tech. So that'll be neat, won't it?
Yeah, we're pretty excited for that one, especially with it being in Atlanta this year. They had them at home last year, so getting to go to, GT and kind of see what my dad kind of experienced, in his college days will be really cool, and my parents are coming out for that game. So, yeah, it should be really, really fun for my family. I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing I want to touch upon before we let you go is the fact that, you realize and understand that you're a role model. There's a lot of girls that look up to you. I have a granddaughter that looks up to you, and I know there's others around that same age that look up to you. And there's pictures of you, signing autographs and signing merchandise and posing for pictures and stuff after basketball games. And I commend you on what you're doing there as a role model, Amiah, and the standard that you are setting for people because you're really such a humble person, and you realize that is important as a role model, don't you?
Yes, of course. I think humility is huge. And I am always so grateful to, all those little girls. And, there's a lot of little boys at our games, too, which is really fun. But, yeah, I remember being that little and having my role models growing up. And, I would give anything to have some of them sign, some of my stuff. So just being able to be that person, you only get to see these people for 5 minutes a day. But, that's the 5 minutes and that's the impression that they get of you. So I think you always have to make the most of it. And like I've mentioned before, I'm super thankful for all the people that do support me, and even the new fans, coming in from Husker Nation are great. So it's just been a really cool experience and a really humbling experience for me to see everyone who does support me and who has, followed my journey. It really does mean a lot. So.
Well, we're so glad that a lot of your games are televised, too, on the Big Ten Network, because that's great. It really is. What's your major there in college at Nebraska? What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in biological sciences, and I'll go to grad school after my 4 years here, and I'll study more marine biology.
Awesome.
Is the plan. So yeah.
Well, I have no doubt that you're going to be successful with that, Amiah. No doubt at all. Well, hey, we appreciate you taking time out to visit with us today and kind of catching people up on what you're doing there at Nebraska and the success and what it takes to be successful. If there was a little bit of advice that you would give anybody that's playing girls basketball right now at, let's say, the junior high or the high school level, what kind of advice would you give them to be able to improve their game or that sort of thing?
I would say always to give your 110%, always give your best, to be kind and to stay humble, and, just to do it while it's fun. If it ever doesn't become fun, that's when you can kind of take a step back and kind of reassess the situation, but always have fun and always give your best would be my advice to younger girls out there.
Fantastic. Well said. Appreciate it so much. Well, Amiah, we'll let you go. I know you got a lot to do to get ready for that basketball game for tomorrow. But again, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck not only tomorrow, but this entire season. And we'll keep following your career, and hopefully we can talk to you down the line, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.